Morning, it's Dave Levine here. Thanks for joining me for Dave's People Developer Reflections and the Reflections of a Podcast Host. It's Thursday morning. I'm looking still a little bit rough as I've just woken up not too long ago, taken the dog out for a walk. The reason I'm doing my reflections right now is that I didn't get around to doing them yesterday. The day just sort of seemed to take me over a little. I just got involved in a lot of different things to do with work and family. So I wanted to capture yesterday's reflections first thing this morning. Yesterday was a particularly interesting day given that I launched sort of a social media post around the anniversary of the podcast. I've done 43 episodes so far, so I'm really pleased in the last year. Loads of different guests from varying backgrounds and so on. And it was just really lovely to see the response that I received in terms of the hard work that I've put in and some level of acknowledgement. And I think my reflections are based on the fact it's really important to take stock, reflect, and to celebrate achievements and be realistic about actually it's been a lot of hard work over the last year and a lot of commitment. I've learned a huge amount. And in some ways, today I'm wanting to make sure I capture the fact that I give myself a good pat on the back and say well done, because was quite some achievement. I know when I set off on the journey I was going to open a bit of a can of worms, and I did so, and it's been a real massive journey, and I'm really looking forward to seeing where my sort of perseverance and commitment and the engagement I can try and hook into can take the project. So that was the first key element of my reflections from yesterday. Another part was that I started to build, got back into building some of the online content and my coaching program and putting it online, which diving back into working with online programs really made me consider the fact of multitasking, and that actually when I start a project and then flip from one thing to another, it feels like I have to go back and do it again or start again, and it takes me time to warm up. But when I'm warmed up, I get into the swing of how the system and the program works and the piece of software works, and there's a huge amount of efficiency there because you can just get on and do things much quicker. So I think the principle of multitasking, which I do a lot, and spinning plates, and how that links into efficiencies is quite an important reflection, and I do need to try and manage that a little bit better to try and maintain a greater focus and less of a flitting, to improve my effectiveness and efficiency. And my last kind of reflections for the day yesterday, again, was coming back to planning ahead, looking ahead. It's a particularly interesting time where the world's beginning to kind of open up a little bit. I'm wondering what's a bit down the line. So there's something for me about that kind of strategic view. What's around the corner, what's around the corner in terms of what's coming ahead, but also having to deal with the here and now and what's going on in the moment. And I still feel that I'm, purposefully but flitting from one to another and back again, which is, I guess, part of running your own business. But I guess my key reflection is let's not lose sight of what's really important here, what's my purpose, and make sure that I keep doing what I'm doing, which make sure it's aligned to sort of my just cause, my purpose, or what's further down the line. So if it's not worth doing, then don't do it. So thanks for joining me today. I've got a really hectic day ahead. We're recording a podcast today, so looking forward to that, and got a few other sort of meetings in the diary, and also some family commitments as well in terms of taxing people around to different activities and so on. So over and out from me for today. Have a good one, and I look forward to catching up with you again soon.